One of the biggest crypto VCs, Three Arrows Capital, is facing insolvency, which could spell disaster for the entire crypto space. In today's video, we'll dive into what led to the downfall of Three Arrows Capital and some major forthcoming liquidations and what it all means for the future of crypto. Before we do so, if you're meeting me for the first time, my name is John. I welcome you specially to LN Crypto, the place for the latest crypto and DeFi news, analysis and insights. On this channel, I also make videos to help you discover the best projects on time so you can make huge gains for yourself. If these are the kind of topics that interest you, do well to like and subscribe. I'd also pin that bell notification so you get notified whenever I drop new videos. So without further ado, let's get to what we have for today. Unfortunately, a mix of poor risk management, greed, and carelessness has led to the insolvency that has severe ramifications for the entire crypto space. It all started when Zusu, one of the founders of the Three Arrows Capital, deleted his Instagram account and went silent on Twitter, causing rumors to spread about a potential Three Arrows Capital margin call. Shortly after, it was revealed that Three Arrows Capital had $245 million worth of ETH deposited in Aave protocol to serve as collateral for them to borrow $189 million. Due to the liquid nature of their holdings, they were unable to add collateral or pay off debt. This led to a liquidation cascade. Many began to label their overuse of leverage as irresponsible, as many positions were left exposed when the market started dumping. They were leveraged long everywhere, leading to a wave of margin calls. And instead of answering these calls, they ghosted everyone, which resulted in forced liquidations, leading to a broader market dump. It became evident that liquidity issues were worsening as Three Arrows Capital were seemingly forced to sell 60,000 units of staked ETH. As the staked ETH saga unfolded, Zusu finally confirmed the market's suspicion by publishing his first tweet ever since the fiasco began. The beginning of Three Arrows Capital fall can be directly tied to the collapse of Luna and UST. Three Arrows Capital supposedly borrowed money off investors and deposited in Anchor Protocol without telling them. They bought $560 million worth of locked Luna, and that position crashed to a mere $600. There's a speculation that these losses led Three Arrows Capital to increase their risk appetite as a way of recouping losses. So the big question is, how does Three Arrows Capital insolvency spell disaster for the entire crypto space? It does because Three Arrows Capital borrowed from major lenders like FTX, Celsius, BlockFi, Nexo, and even BitMEX. If Three Arrows Capital is unable to repay loans, all major lenders would inevitably take a hit, which would kick off somewhat of a domino effect. When lenders begin to get affected, this will become detrimental as it leads to increased collateral liquidations, which has a negative price impact on related assets. However, some lenders have taken a prudent approach to recouping losses. It's foreseeable that Three Arrows Capital look to exit many of their positions that are unlocked at the moment, so keep an eye on the upcoming unlocks. But for the collapse of Luna, Three Arrows Capital and Celsius wouldn't have reached this fate. Since major players in the crypto space are inextricably linked, the contagion effect often finds a way to spread. There is significantly more VCs, capital, and leverage in crypto now than there was in 2017. This means that the drawdowns are continuously becoming extreme. There is a whole lot of leverage left to be unwinded and big players to be liquidated. However, it would be naive to suggest that the contagion effect has stopped. Celsius and Three Arrows Capital are just two of the first institutions to reach the brink of collapse, but will definitely not be the last. Unfortunately, these events are a bad look for the crypto space and certainly hurt credibility. But this great leverage reset is essential to ensure the long-term sustainability of the crypto market, as painful as it is in the short and medium term. Right now, there are three liquidations I have my eyes on. It is a $778 million worth of positions across Wrapped BTC, Sol, and ETH. The first liquidation is a 23,962 units of Wrapped BTC position on Celsius that will be triggered if Bitcoin drops to $13,604. The next liquidation I have my eyes on is a 5.7 million units of sold position on the Solent protocol that might get triggered once the price touches the $22.30 mark. And the last liquidation I have my eyes on is a 152,000 units of ETH position on the Aave protocol that will get triggered if ETH drops to $895 mark. I think you should also keep your eyes on these price levels, because I believe that once prices touch these levels, there is going to be a huge volatility. However, the Solana situation is quite intriguing as it has raised intense debate. A Solana whale has a massive position of $170 million worth of SOL deposited on the Solana protocol and $108 million worth of USDC borrowed from the same protocol. And as this position crossed to liquidation, it began to trigger fears that user funds could be put at risk. So in response, the Solana protocol reached out to the whale to negotiate a solution, claiming that the whale's position would always present a systemic risk to the Solana protocol and its users. In addition, allowing a liquidation of this magnitude to happen on-chain is extremely risky. But the whale didn't respond, so the Solana protocol decided to issue a proposal that intends to grant emergency power to take over the whale's account so that the liquidation happens over the counter instead of on-chain. The proposal was met with huge public backlash, as many claimed that intervention would actually contradict the essence of decentralization. One of the things to learn from the Celsius and 3 Arrows Capital situation is on-chain transparency is a much needed component of the crypto financial ecosystem. But despite the backlash to the proposal, 97.5% voted yes. It turns out that over 90% of the votes came from a single entity, implying that the fate of over $270 million in users' assets are being decided by just one entity. This is the fundamental flaw in the system, as voting power is largely dependent on the amount of DAO one holds. This resulted in further division amongst the community, and the Solana protocol decided to invalidate the votes, which I believe is a very good option to take at the moment, considering the need for user protection. But the Solana's resolution to invalidate the votes raises a big question, which I myself am asking too. What's the essence of a DAO if proposal outcomes are not strictly adhered? So what we have on our plate right now is a classic case of need versus want in the crypto space. What we want is decentralization, but what we actually need in this case is user protection. Striving for a healthy balance between the two is what we need to make progress as an industry. Do you think so? I'd like to know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. I must thank you so much for sticking around till the end of the video. I hope you found value. Please do well to like and subscribe, and also pin that bell notification so you get notified whenever I drop new videos. Thank you very much once again, and see you in the next video.